Welcome to the Nevis newscast for Friday, January 27th, 2023. I'm Donis Wilkinson-Keynes. Stakeholders in the agricultural sector on Nevis took part in a Crop Protection Symposium at the Emergency Operations Center at Long Point on Thursday, January 26th. The meeting, hosted by Trinidad-based Caribbean Chemicals and Agencies Limited, in collaboration with the Department of Agriculture in the Nevis Island Administration, was designed to create an opportunity for farmers to further grasp an understanding of crop protection and to provide digital lab and crop diagnostic services in order to assess, prevent, and treat pests and diseases. Director of the Department of Agriculture, Randy Elliott, in his remarks during the opening ceremony, underscored the significance of the symposium to farmers.
Crop protection is a very important element within the context of agriculture, and quite often a number of farmers go and plant without actually monitoring the crops or without actually having any crop protection mechanism in place. And there are times that the losses from pests are quite significant. This morning symposium, although again it says Caribbean Chemicals, is not about just utilizing chemicals, but it's for you as farmers, staff from the Department of Agriculture, is to be able to monitor your crops, look for signs, look for symptoms, look for feeding habits, and then from there, once you're able to understand what pest is actually affecting you, then you know what sort of mechanism you have to put in place, whether you're changing the cultural practices, biological practices, or whether or not you use a pesticide as a means of control.
Elliott noted that the Department of Agriculture is trying to play its part in the mandate set by the Caribbean Community CARICOM to reduce the food import bill by 2025. He added that the assistance of those in the agricultural industry is critical to realizing that goal.
We at the department, we cannot do it alone. We're reaching out to our partners such as Caribbean Chemicals, but we're reaching out to you, our main partners, the individuals who actually would lead in terms of ensuring food security. That reduction in the food importation is you, our farmers.
Elliott also used the opportunity to thank Caribbean Chemicals for its partnership with the Department of Agriculture, which has spanned several years. Meantime, Kennedy Paul, technical export agronomist from Caribbean Chemicals, who facilitated the one-day symposium, expressed gratitude to the department for giving him the opportunity to impart knowledge to the farmers, whom he regards as major stakeholders in the agricultural industry.
Hopefully, we could go through some of the more relevant pests affecting crop protection in St. Kitts and Nevis. What we intend to do, I want to help you to learn how to identify certain symptoms of insect pest damage in your crops. For particular crops, vegetable crops, crops like your tomatoes, your carrots. I've also heard of an interesting pest problem that you guys may have, which is the leafhopper. I hope I get the opportunity to take a look at it during our field trip this evening. Once again, I want to thank everybody here for showing up first and foremost, and I want to thank the Department of Agriculture for always being so cooperative and helpful as it relates to imparting knowledge on the farmers.
A similar workshop was held on Wednesday, January 25th in St. Kitts. Alexandria Richards of Nevis's Department of Sports is one of 8 young people in St. Kitts and Nevis who will benefit this year from the Republic of Cuba Government Cooperation Program in Education. The NIA's Ministry of Education, Information Technology, Library Services, Youth and Sports gave Richards an official send-off on Thursday, January 26th.
One of our own, Miss Alexandria Richards, is going to be going off to study in Cuba, and I must say how proud I am of her. I've been working with Alexandria for a number of years now. I often refer to her as one of our gems, and I'm delighted that she has taken the step to upgrade herself, build her capacity, and come back and serve Nevis with distinction.
Director of the Department of Sports, Jamia Claxton. Permanent Secretary Kevin Barrett also extended best wishes to Richards and presented her with a token.
We are delighted that you are making this step, and we know how important it is to make better of yourself. And we know that making that transition into a new environment, it could be difficult. And so the Ministry of Education, Department of Sports, Department of Youth, we would have gone ahead and done some shopping for you. So when you reach to Cuba, you wouldn't have the difficulty in feeding yourself for at least a week or two, because I think we would have done a healthy shopping for you, and we are hoping that this would give you a good platform in which to make that transition, and we expect nothing less than the best from you. So on behalf of the Minister, Honorable Troy Liburd, and all at the Ministry of Education, Department of Education, Department of Sports, Department of Youth, at IT, at Library Services, you have the full support of the team, and we wish you all the best.
Alexandria Richards will travel to Cuba at the end of January to pursue studies in physical education.
I would like to say a special thank you to the Department of Sports for always supporting me, and every time there is an opportunity, Jamia always calls me and tell me to go out and learn as much as possible. I want to say thanks to the Ministry of Education, Human Resources, and some persons, Zwani Morton and Mrs. Jones. They were the ones who sent me the form to go and apply, and once I did, I went to Human Resources, and Shelley Liburd, she was the one who helped me, and she always messaged me to tell me, bring the stuff before the deadline. And she did not know Spanish, and she went on Google to translate all of the documents. So I am very thankful for that, and I am also thankful for my friends, family, role models, and persons who have been messaging me and wishing me all the best, and thank you.
After several years of professional training, each beneficiary of the program is expected to return to contribute with their services and knowledge to the social development of their country. The Nevis Disaster Management Department has commenced its 2023 monthly Multiple Hazard Awareness Campaign. Minister of Disaster Management, the Honorable Spencer Brand, says each month a particular hazard will be in focus in order to promote safety and educate the general public on what to do before, during, and after a hazard strikes. The campaign is being done in collaboration with the Department of Education and faith-based organizations on Nevis.
These campaigns are in the meantime spearheaded by several target audience groups, namely the school-based and faith-based audience groups. It aims to establish an effective participatory approach in multi-hazard awareness, where the target audiences becomes the voice of safety. Therefore, each denomination and school are assigned a particular hazard in a given month. For the month of January is the month of earthquake awareness. As a result, the Wesleyan Holiness Church and the Charlestown Primary School have been assigned to lead this month's earthquake awareness campaign.
The awareness activities include a guest appearance by students of the Charlestown Primary School and experts from the University of the West Indies, the UWI Seismic Research Center on the program Youth on the Go at 9 a.m. on Saturday, January 28th on One Radio. A presentation by a representative of the Nevis Disaster Management Department at the Charlestown and Brownhill Wesleyan Holiness Churches on Sunday, January 29th. A presentation on earthquakes at the Charlestown Primary School on Monday, January 30th, as well as an earthquake drill at all schools on Nevis at 10 a.m. on Monday, January 30th. The Ministry of Youth Empowerment is on a search to find the top musicians from St. Kitts and Nevis for the International Youth Cultural Exchange Program this July for students between the ages of 14 and 18 years. The renowned International Music Camp organization is hosting a youth cultural exchange. It is one of the leading summer schools of fine arts in North America, located at the International Peace Garden on the border between the United States and Canada. The purpose of the camp is to encourage the development of a greater understanding among the youth of the world using music as the universal language. More than 150 of the finest artist teachers and guest conductors will provide an enriching musical experience through master classes, music theory, private lessons, and full ensemble rehearsals. The Ministry of Youth Empowerment will be selecting 2 students who are outstanding in the field of music for this rewarding opportunity that covers the areas of band, musical theater, choir, piano, guitar, jazz band, vocal jazz, and orchestra. Interested persons must email their name and contact information to youth@gov.skn with the subject International Music Camp. As part of its annual observance of Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, Community Health Nursing Services will offer free pap smears to women in Nevis. The goal of screening for cervical cancer is to find precancerous cervical cell changes when treatment can prevent cervical cancer from developing. Cervical cancer found at an early stage is usually easier to treat. The cervical cancer screening will be offered at the 6 health centers on Nevis from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Saturday, January 28th. For more information, visit or contact a health center in your community. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. I'm Donis Wilkinson Keynes. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, have an enjoyable weekend. Thank you for viewing.